Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is our MeWe Awakening panel for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and many online. Today's our online awakening panel, and the theme is medical intuition. There are 6 practitioners on the panel today that focus on medical intuition as part of their practice. I also do other work, and I may be sharing as well. So a lot of practitioners that focus on medical intuition. We are here today to introduce ourselves and then answer your questions. So answer questions from the audience. We'll have the practitioners introduce themselves so you get to know who everyone is on the panel. We'll set a bit of container for how we answer questions today, and then we'll be right on with our questions. If you want to ask a question of the panel, say it's free to be here to listen and learn all together, to practice opening true intuition, etc. If you want to ask a question, there is a small price. It's sliding scale. I'll put it in the chat. It is 20 to 28 or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. So let us know if you want to ask a question. We request that you pay first, and then you could let me know in the chat that you've paid. That'd be great. I'll get you in line. All right, practitioners. So we're going to do introductions, and is everyone comfortable going in the same order that we went before, or do you want to change it up? Okay, great. So we're going to go Kelsey, Karen, Kathleen, DoveLight, and Mystic Angel. All right, go ahead and take 2 to 3 minutes and share about all that you do.
All righty. Hello, everybody. Kelsey Harte here. I'm a medical, intuitive, and plant-based healer, and I help people guide them to restore their mind, body, soul, spirit, and heart holistically using medical medium information, plant-based nutrition, herbs, angels, soul healing with nature, and also spiritual ascension support. My soul's purpose is to help upgrade the frequency of planet Earth, and I believe the most efficient way to do that is for each of us taking accountability of our own well-being. I come with the experience of having gone through my own healing journey and making it to the other side. In 2018, I reached rock bottom. I had a bunch of debilitating chronic health symptoms, and I was constantly playing out old traumas in my life. I felt like a shell of a person that I knew I was deep inside, and I was suffering every single day. And I was tired of living this way, so I set the intention to heal, and I was guided to the answers actually rather quickly. And so I began healing with plants, nature, medical medium, energy. I really changed my nutrition and my lifestyle. And I have successfully healed brain fog, asthma, depression, and vastly healed many other symptoms like chronic fatigue, anxiety, and reproductive issues. And so now it's my passion to help others do the same, others that are on similar journeys as the ones that I took, to help restore themselves to balance so that they can feel better in their bodies. And when we learn how to support ourselves with a solid foundation of health, then the other levels of healing, such as emotional and spiritual and mental, are able to blossom as well. And today I'm offering a special. I'm offering a free 30-minute discovery call when you sign up in the next 48 hours. And this is the time for us to connect, for me to learn more about you, and then I can help you, direct you on your healing path. And you can sign up to do this discovery call by emailing me at holistichearthealing@gmail.com, which will be in the chat, or you can find me on my website, which is holistichearthealing.com. And I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. Karen?
Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Coccia with KarenCoccia.com. I am a quantum healer, a multidimensional mentor, and a soul alignment coach. And I'm trained in a number of energy healing modalities, including decodes, Reiki, access bars, and a plethora of other things, from sound healing, crystal healing, and I'm even dabbling into naturopathy now. My mission is to guide people to see and feel just how infinite and powerful each and every one of us is. I help people release everything that's not authentic to them to illuminate who they truly are and what they came here to be in this life, aligning them to the lives they came here to live and express fully. I connect energetically with clients and run sessions in a conversational way. So I tap into your body and I look into what's presenting as ready to clear. Together, we clear through trapped emotions, Akashic records, we'll cut cords, we will reset patterns and beliefs. Limiting beliefs really get in the way of healing our lives, our bodies, and our whole selves. So we will work to get together to get you soul aligned. I'm currently offering a $20 coupon for everyone attending this evening. It's on virtual sessions. And I also have a fun pendulum play coming up on October 4th. It's a masterclass, and I believe Laureli will be sharing those links in the comments. Again, my website is KarenCoccia.com, and my email is Karen@KarenCoccia.com. I am so excited to be here tonight and looking forward to this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen. Kathleen is next.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Hoagland. I'm a certified medical intuitive, an allergy healer, and an intuitive art decoder. And what I do is I specialize in helping my clients get to the core of their issues. A lot of illnesses, most illnesses begin kind of out in your auric field, and then they become physical later. So we work, and I talk to your energy body to get to the core of what's going on. And sometimes you might say you want to work on something, but your body's saying it wants to work on something else. And it might not even be what you're aware of. So what I do is I have a variety of modalities too, to help clear stuck energies. And I help get your body back in balance. In some of the areas that I work that come up a lot are things with your vagus nerve, your organs, your chakras, limiting beliefs, and just it's always very interesting. So I'm Kathleen Hoagland. I also have a special for 30-minute session with me for $60 if you book within the next 48 hours. If you'd like to talk to me about my medical intuitive or any of the other things I do, the energy, allergy healing, or the intuitive art, feel free to reach out to me at KathleenHoagland.com. I have a website, or you can email me at knhoagland@comcast.net, and I'll be happy to talk with you. And I hope you enjoy tonight, and thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Kathleen. DoveLight is next.
Good evening, everybody. My honor and blessings to be in your presence. Such a beautiful time to remember that we are more than the physical, we are the spiritual, but we are not separated. So it is very important to pay attention to your non-physical being because it's connected to your physical. So it is very important to be present in your body and remember how to listen to your body. We all have different ways to learn how to understand how our body works because we're very unique. It is our intention to bring awareness and clarity so you feel more comfortable and perhaps allowing more time to listen to your personal needs. I am not a doctor and I do not offer medical advice at all. However, I am a soul frequency tarot reader, angelic oracle reader. I do shamanic practices from my lineage as well from the cultures I've been involved with. I do energy healing. I've been born naturally with healing abilities as well as being attuned to many others energy frequencies. I also do sound healing. Today, I'm offering free days like free trial for the Hub, which is an application where you can find my monthly shamanic circles, mediumship classes, and all spiritual. The first 10 people to sign up for the free trial at the Hub will receive a 15 minutes complimentary reading session with me. And the session can be of any topic at all, any energy field, any area of your life. It's welcome. So take advantage because it's limited for only 10 people. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, DoveLight. Mystic Angel's next.
Hello, greetings. I'm Mystic Angel with True Love Metaphysical and Wellness. In these types of times, we often forget to look to nature to help us find peace, balance, and wellness. At True Love Metaphysical and Wellness, my experience in spiritual work is designed to assist you on your spiritual journey and to help you feel better in every way. I'm based in San Diego and also online. I offer free consultations, affordable services, and a range of products to help you on your way to balance and wellness. Looking to book an appointment? Go to truelovemetaphysical.com. What I'm offering today is 15 minutes free consultation. I do angel oracle, I do Rider-Waite tarot, and I'm also a herbalist, a natural healer. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'm happy to assist you. Peace and love.
Thanks so much, Mystic Angel. Let me get your information in the chat too. It's the first time that you're on a panel with us. We're excited to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. And then we should also be joined by Jenn Leese. I think Jenn is not here yet. Jenn, if you appear somewhere and I'm not seeing you, let me know. Jenn Leese does dragon healing and channeling. We just did our interview, and Jenn is up on our MeWe vendors page. You can see interviews with all kinds of practitioners. And then I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and body psychology coach. I read your eyes, your whole body, and answer questions. Your eyes primarily tell me about your soul, your purpose, and I answer questions about career paths, relationships, and matchmaking, connecting you with people for whatever it is you want to play in business or work, or your love life. And then your body gives me tons of information as well. There are, let's say, your body gives way to different types of feelings and emotions you might be feeling, more chronic states where you might be stuck, some subconscious beliefs, feelings in the moment that let me know what you might be thinking, feeling of how much of flow you're in with what's happening at the moment or not. Yeah, all kinds of different things, desires, fears, and desires. Our bodies show all kinds of different things. We can get more in tune with our bodies and the messages of our bodies. And yeah, we can notice it in each other and support each other to feel the most empowered. And again, make choices that help us step along our path. I may be answering questions tonight, depending on what the questions are. I don't particularly focus on medical intuition. I maybe do a little bit more of that kind of a mental health personality intuition. Although just like the other practitioners here, we are not medical practitioners, not a therapist. And let me go ahead and take this moment to read the fine print, which we have also put in the chat. By participating in this event, the attendee understands that we are not medical doctors and are not giving medical advice. If any of us are medical doctors and do that work on the side, that's not what we're doing here today. The attendee further agrees that information gained from this event is for educational purposes only. Please seek allopathic medical attention if needed. The attendee indemnifies MeWe fairs and practitioners from any results related to the application of these educational materials in practice. Thanks for understanding our need for the fine print. All right, great. Well, practitioners, sometimes hearing each other share, we realize more things we want to share about ourselves and our backgrounds. Does any of you have anything else you want to share about medical intuition or your backgrounds? Yeah, if any of you, if there's anything, just go ahead and jump in. Right, I say, and when this medical intuition can be a very broad topic, and how we explore today, it might be particular physical things, and it might be more energetic. All kinds of things can show up here, right? Different emotional things as we don't face them show up in the body physically. So just a whole range of different things we can address. Yeah, just any practitioners, anything else you want to share, make sure it's open.
I'll share a little bit.
Go ahead.
You know, we come together here because this is like a metaphysical type theme. You know, intuition is kind of related to like energy, and actually something that I've really found is super pivotal for like creating wellness and well-being and, you know, growing and moving forward in life is kind of bridging, you know, the knowledge base about what can help you heal with like the energy work. I feel like combining those two things is like the perfect mix to really move somebody forward in health. And through my experiences too, I've just noticed how transformational energy work is too. One of my colleagues has healed themselves of cancer focused on energy work, and so I just like to kind of point that out, that I've come across that and found that. And so a lot of people here are probably interested in energy work, and so I definitely encourage you to keep learning about that because there's a lot of magic there.
Thanks for sharing. And by the way, Jenn is not going to be joining us on the panel. Jenn had a personal medical intuition, family matter to attend to. So yeah, won't be with us today. Yeah. You know, like it's part of the, oh, Mystic Angel, go ahead and share.
Well, I do have something to share. I wanted to share about the awareness, how that we may be so bombarded with distractions of not being able to take care of ourselves, our bodies, and how we may ignore, some things because we are, either working or taking care of the children, taking the dog to the vet, and we're not being aware of what's going on around us and what's going on within us. And I feel like in the beginning, like the first step to healing is becoming aware. And when you become aware of the things that's going on within you, then you can start to heal. Your first step is to take 5 minutes of your day and clear your mind. Go somewhere in nature and just, be open to nature, and take breathing techniques, breathing through your nose and release through your mouth. And a lot of times I like to do when I raise my arms up in the air and I breathe and release. And if you do that, just take that 5 minutes of your day. 5 minutes, the number 5 represents change. If you take 5 minutes of your day for 7 days, 7 represents the number of spiritual path. That means your path, your life, your journey, however you want to call it. You want to see a change in your life. Take 5 minutes a day for 7 days, just taking that time to breathe. And you can even write down your thoughts. I promise you, you will see some kind of difference. You will feel a kind of difference, and you will become aware of something that you have not been paying attention to within yourself. So that right there, healing is continuous, 888. My ancestors gave me that number and let me know that healing is continuous because the number 8 represents, when you turn it sideways, it's the infinity sign, okay? So healing is continuous. When you continue with something, it's continuing, right? Okay, so we have 888. We have 3 8s. And those 3 8s represents mind, body, and spirit. And the number 8 represents abundance and prosperity. So bringing all that together, being aware of yourself within, healing, being continuous, that means you are bringing a change on your life path, bringing in prosperity and abundance. Prosperity and abundance don't always mean money, but it means being abundance in love, being abundance in peace, being abundance in joy. All of those things that we take for granted are the little things. Healing is continuous, 888.
Great. Thank you, Mystic Angel. Kathleen, go ahead.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And when the awareness starts, then you start being in present, and the answers and the things you need to see and go forward with will start appearing. So that is your first step. I totally agree with that. And when people say it's infinite, it doesn't mean it's like never ending. It's never in like, oh, I'm never going to get over this thing. It's infinite, but it's always moving forward for your good, for your best. So that was all I had to say. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna jump in there too. So to jump on the bandwagon a little bit here in terms of awareness, one thing that I've also found that creates massive shifts is everything that we wind up taking for granted and all of the beliefs that we hold about what's possible and what's not possible in our lives. And whenever we feel stuck, or if we feel like we can't change something, You know, there's that old saying of, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Because if you feel like it's never going to change and you're not going to be able to make a shift, you're absolutely right, because you've closed that pathway down. But if you start to question, why do I feel like this is the way it has to be? Or is this really what it has to look like? And you start opening yourself up to possibility. You start opening up those pathways to really invite in the healing or the shifts. And then the deeper that you go within all of that, you wind up realizing that oftentimes we have adopted all of these beliefs that are societal, that aren't even true necessarily. And once you break through all of that, it is absolutely amazing how much you're able to change and shift and how much easier it becomes. It's like you knock that first domino over, and then all of a sudden the dominoes just keep moving, and you're able to just explore deeper and deeper and find there's so much more out there than you've ever realized is even possible. So, and that all starts with awareness. Absolutely.
Great. Great. Maybe one newer thing that I'm running into in terms of health is I've been working out with an equivalent of lifting weights for the last 3+ years. And it's mobile, or it's a static process where there's nothing actually moving. It's just increasing pressure over time, and each exercise only lasts for about 2 minutes. And it's gradually becoming more known that maybe what's much more important than having less fat is having more muscle for health. Not exactly a metaphysical topic. And I think part of what's important there is that we think we might know what makes for health, and maybe we don't know. And the more that we can stay open and really listen and hear, as we're all saying, what's true in our bodies, that's what leads us to greater health. Not what our minds might think we know. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to add on that. I think it really comes down to like people getting in touch with themselves, like we're saying, like awareness, and then learning to listen to their own self, their own inner soul, higher self power within. A lot of us, like in our society, like Karen said, like we are brainwashed to think that other people have the answers for us. And so there's this whole spiritual movement awakening happening of people coming back to themselves and coming into their own power, remembering that like they're the only ones that can know themselves the best. Other people are our guides, our leaders, they're our friends, our mentors, they're walking with us, but we're walking ourselves.
Yep, great. I put the information in the chat again about how to ask a question of the panel. We can answer a question on just about anything. In addition to medical intuition, we all have tons of gifts that we are sharing today. There are 6 of us on the panel. Yeah, DoveLight, if there's anything else you want to share, go ahead and dive in. Yeah, I don't think anyone has stepped up to ask a question yet. So the panel will be able to answer our own questions if no one jumps in. And yeah. And any general questions about the field and the area, we can talk about that too while we're waiting for a question. But yeah, practitioners, does anyone on the panel have a question for the panel on the topic? We can always start off with one of our own questions. Oh, and let me say before we jump in to answer questions, oh goodness, there are 3 things I typically share, and it's been a few weeks now since I've shared online. I know one thing is that this is a great opportunity to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you ask a question. It's a great opportunity to practice opening to your intuition, because you can see if what comes through you is similar to what is something that we say. Although you may have something come through you that's perfectly valid that we happen to not mention. And if we say something that goes deeper in this format than you want us to be sharing, or talks about topics you don't want us sharing, please let us know, interrupt us. We want to honor you in how we are answering. I think those are all the main things. And I've mentioned before already that this is for educational purposes. We are not doctors, and we are not giving medical advice. We had a whole bunch of fine print about that, and it was earlier on in the event. All right. And I'll put the information on the practitioners in the chat again too. Many of us have specials tonight as well. All right, well, and if you want to ask a question of the panel after you pay, please let me know so I make sure I notice and I get you in line. Kelsey has something to share. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have something that just popped into my mind randomly, so it must need to be heard. there's a cool thing, because I was thinking like fall's on its way. So what can we get ready for in terms of fall and healing? Yeah. Do you have
Fall
something?
started during the panel. It started at
Oh,
6:03, I think. So yeah, we're now like 6 minutes into fall.
oh my gosh. Okay. Well, fall was speaking to me. And something that just popped into my head is, I come from a standpoint, I think it's really important to learn how the human body works, because that literally is like what we are. We want to have a connection to our body and understand it. And something that happens around this time in the fall is that our body naturally detoxes. I don't know if any of you have heard, fall and spring are really popular times to do cleanses and detoxes. So right now is a good time to like support your body a little bit extra through that. I mean, you can eating clean foods like plants, fruits, vegetables, even like winter squash is cleansing on its own. So that's a good way to like gently help that process along. You can also do something like limiting the radical fat you eat in the morning, saving it until noon. That helps your liver to cleanse. And so those are a couple things that you could do to gently assist the process.
Great. And someone suggested a general topic that we could talk about a little bit. What are our favorite or common misconceptions that we have found from our personal experience in terms of health and wellness? So what are common beliefs that we have found aren't true, right? Common misconceptions that people have about health and wellness. Yeah, so if anyone wants, it's from your personal experience, right? So personal experience working with your own body. It could be working with clients, but the more, I think, our personal experience, yeah, is what the person's looking for. Yeah, so if anyone wants to share.
So I'll jump in here. I come from a background where I was diagnosed with depression and was wavering with chronic fatigue syndrome. I was told that I needed to figure something out by my doctor, or I was going to have chronic fatigue syndrome of how I was headed. And I really felt very, very stuck. And I feel like so many people feel like there's no other option than to go down the path of the allopathic. And allopathic absolutely has its place, but there is so much more available to us. And so many people don't even realize the amount of options that are just at our fingertips, things as easy as going outside and getting extra sunlight and that vitamin D and just soaking up the sun completely transforms our bodies. Putting our hands in the soil actually connects and can adjust our hormones. Like there is so much in the natural world, totally kind of off subject, but on subject. Even pineapple juice is more effective than something like, your typical anti-phlegm, I won't name any brand names, pill that you can take. If you were to drink pure pineapple juice, it is more effective and you have no side effects and you actually get healthier while also treating the abundance of phlegm that you're trying to deal with. So there are so many options available to us in nature at our fingertips that you kind of have to look for. And unfortunately, the way our society is set up right now is this is what's wrong. Here's this pill. Now you have this, here's this pill. And all of those have their own cascade effect, right? Where, you start taking this and you might wind up with that, or you start taking that and you might wind up with that. But so many things for the majority of us, and of course there are exceptions, but the majority of us, we don't have a side effect to getting a little bit more sunshine, or to getting our hands a little bit dirty, or to drinking pineapple juice, or whatever it is. But it is absolutely amazing how much is available to us. This universe was designed to support us on this planet, to support us in this life. It's a symbiotic relationship that we have here. And the closer we can connect to the elements around us, the healthier and more vibrant and more alive we can actually feel. And when I look back at my life when I was 20, versus my life now in my 40s, I am more vibrant, more energized, so much happier and so much healthier than I was half my age ago, when, common sense or current thinking might tell me that I should have been feeling better when I was younger. So that would be my really big common misconception. The truth is out there. Check it out.
That's great. Thank you. Kathleen's got something to share.
Yes, I was just thinking about all of that. I went to the doctor yesterday, which I never want to do. And I went and I was thinking, wow, how can he be a doctor anymore with all this? Because we have gotten knowledge and we talk back. We ask questions, back in the day when I was growing up, you just went to the doctor, you did whatever they said, and now we have information, and for so many years, I've been looking for things that are free or helpful that you don't have to be spending money on. So yeah, it's endless out there. There's lymphology, there's Reiki, there's rebounding, there's just endless things that people can do. And it's just taking that time, being on things like this, talking with other people and just getting that knowledge out there little bit by little bit. And it starts showing up when you need it, if you ask for it. But yeah, it's great that we do have that. Well, I don't always like the internet, but it's great that we do have that, because that's another place where we can learn things, but don't always believe everything, but it's a stepping stone. But yeah, it's great that we have the ability now to speak up and ask questions and sort of be heard now. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Kathleen. Yeah, anyone else want to share? Go ahead, Kelsey.
I just have so much to share because this is my topic. But yeah, so I was in the chronic health world. I really was kind of forced to start learning about it to help myself heal. And something that I really learned was, like, I had these symptoms that I didn't even realize were symptoms when I first started, when I was like sick. I opened up, I think I connected with a naturopath, and she started to help me see that I had like brain fog, and digestive issues isn't a normal thing. Sometimes a lot of people think like, oh, you just kind of, your body breaks down as you get older. But I just kind of awakened to the fact that, like, humans can live in a way that they don't have chronic illness. And I think part of our, again, like the conditioning from our society and from just the like conditioning of the medical culture that we're used to, says that it's normal for bodies to break down as they age, but there's actually an alternative to that. I do think this gets into a little bit heavy, like you could go down conspiracy theories, but I do think there's forces that want us sick. But that's, again, coming back to our power and realizing that we can actually change. I think when I started my healing journey, the most pivotal, or the most like profound thing that somebody told me was that I can actually heal. Like, my body can heal. A lot of times we're told our bodies fight themselves. Our bodies work against us. They do not. They are so strong. They are working for us. Our bodies love us. And when we really connect to like that power of our body and that intelligence of our body, that's when the healing starts to happen. So that's just something that really transformed me, or a part of my transformation and healing.
To jump on what Kelsey was just saying, though, if you believe your body is fighting against you, and you believe that your body can't heal and it's going to age in that way, in my experience, that is what you experience. Because again, it's our minds are so powerful too, right? And so what we believe is what we're going to perceive. So if we feel, or if we truly believe like my body's out to get me, or, like my body hates me, or whatever it is, then that becomes our reality. So it's really about, making sure that we understand that, as Kelsey was saying, our bodies are designed to heal. Our bodies are designed to provide us with a beautiful existence on this planet. They're not out to get us, right? So it's important to understand the healing potential of our bodies and the healing potential of ourselves in our whole lives, not just even in our bodies. So it really just, in every aspect.
Great. DoveLight had something to share too.
Oh no, I was just grateful to hear about your body's not against you, because sometimes we are not aware that we are a whole, and that I just got a little emotional. While working with ancestral healing, I just realized that your body has a loyalty to your soul, because it's the first connection that you have. It's like one. It's your physical part from your non-physical, if you resonate with. So it is only makes sense that your body loves you so much to bring this experience to this planet to help your spirit grow. So it was a strong reminder that your body really loves you. It's working with you through this experience. And we are not going to be judged by feeling emotions, because that's part of the experience. But sometimes we need to have some moment to realize, why are we scared to feel? Why are we scared to be present in the moment? Do we learn that we're not good enough, are not physically attractive enough, or we're not ever going to be better? Our body loves us so much that just like our friend Karen say at this moment, if you believe something is going to manifest. Like your body sometimes, for example, you're afraid to do something, and your body might actually give you like an illness or diarrhea to stop you from going there, because it thinks it's protecting you. This is how loyal your body is to you. It's not doing it against you. It's just that you're working as one. We live in a multidimensional world. Many indigenous cultures around the world, we believe that we're connected with the elements. For example, the physical body is connected to the earth, the mental body to the air, our spirit is the fire, and our blood is the water, as well as our emotions. So so we cannot judge ourselves for being sick, because it's part of the process of the polarity of this world. But we have to realize and remember that we have the divinity light guidance to move towards to healness and wellness, because that's our divine right. And this is why it's very important to love yourself enough to don't make it worse for you when you're sick. Please, it's okay to worry, because it's normal, but do not dwell into worry so much that instead of helping yourself, you're making it worse when you're ill. Looking for the worst scenario is only going to make you sicker. So you have to remember to love yourself enough to take you out of the situation. So there is many possibilities in this multidimensional universe. If you choose to do so, you can choose the most positive one, not because you're being like jitty-jatty, it's because it might actually happen. Your faith will move you. And because we have so many things for why we might get sick. Perhaps it's genetically, DNA, it comes from our family generation, can be psychosomatic, your emotions, perhaps a trauma from the past can come, something mental. It could be also that you are healing an ancestral entanglement through this sickness. I got an example in my personal life experience when I got really, really sick from my throat and I couldn't speak for many months. And it was very humbling, bring me back to my knees. Nothing like a sickness to remember you to not take anything for granted. And it was through the experience and through prayer and faith, and also to taking my antibiotics because I need them, and also probiotics and things like that. So everything has a purpose, everything has balance through my doctor's advice. But it was also in my lineage, it was something from a past life that I had a pattern when I was usually died by something on the throat, somebody hung me or somebody, or like somebody like, too many things in my throat. At the same time, I came from an ancestral lineage of women who have taught to shut up. So because I have this awareness about energy healing, I was meant to pass through this sickness, not only for myself, but for my lineages. And I have to, it's a long story, I don't want to make it too short, but what I want to meet to them, because we are multidimensional, You can get sick literally from anything. You can get sick from ancestral pattern, past life, from the cold, I don't know, the winter is coming. This is what is the key. The key, as we have told, is to allow yourself time to remember how to listen. The planets in your chart can bring you more sickness for giving for something. How do you know what it is? Where is it coming? It also makes you feel like you are lost, or everything is attacking you, but it doesn't have to feel that way. It doesn't have to be that way, because we live in this world of love and light, and day and night. There is always a choice to see the bright side, to see the light, to remember our divine birthright, which is wellness in its many forms. So this is what I'm so grateful to hear and to learn from each other, and to bring this awareness that you do have a power to heal, and you do have the power to know where the healing is going to come from. So thank you for that.
Thanks, DoveLight. I've got a few things I can add, and then I know we've got a question. Just some examples from my personal life are, I once really badly broke my leg and sprained my ankle at the same time. And the first doctor I went to said, oh, you need to put in screws. We need to do surgery, and then you have to do surgery to take them out. I didn't want to do that. Maybe I had some intuition. I wasn't open, realizing I had intuition I was listening to at the time. Went to a second doctor. Need to have screws. Need to have surgery. And I was overweight, and so there was greater risk for me that the screws would break while I had them in my body. I'm like, oh, I don't want this. So I went to a third doctor, and the third doctor said, no, actually your leg and all of my soft tissue was in the right position when I had no weight on my leg. And so if it were his leg, I asked, what would you do if it were your leg? He would not have surgery. And so I went 7 weeks with absolutely no weight on my leg. I had no surgery, and not 2 surgeries, not 3 surgeries, no surgeries at all. And I can hop up and down on my leg. So yeah, so listen to ourselves, trust ourselves. Sleep, we're for all kinds of things, like for food and eating or sleeping, we're told like what's average and what's typical and what each person should get. And it turns out that genetically I'm a short sleeper, so I need less sleep than everybody else. So I always struggle to sleep the same amount of time as everyone else. And I thought I was weird. I guess I constrained myself to things that I thought I should be or should match a partner. And it turns out I don't need that much sleep. So I feel really lucky. And yeah, we could have it's only a few percentage of us that this is true of. But so listening to ourselves and seeing what's really true for our own rhythms. Another example is my mom had bipolar, and I've always wondered that she had something else. I think now she had borderline personality disorder, and I know her mother narcissism. And my mom has some tendencies too. So just lots of stuff in my family growing up, and like all kinds of ways I adapted to them. And I've had other colleagues that struggle with some of these things. And I started on a personal growth path early enough in my life, from personal growth and increasing my consciousness and being more authentic and being on track for my purpose, and in that way being connected to spirit. I have so many tools, and I have a little bit of an OCD tendency, which those of you that work with me know, like I've been having examples lately of like data accuracy and editing documents and all that stuff. I can be really hyper focused on things. I was able to turn that into paying attention to me and what do I really need for my body, and when do I shift off what's a natural rhythm for me. And I've been able to use that as a way of then using my tools to support myself. And I've been so much healthier with all these things throughout my life, even though I might have some tendencies. And at the same time, it's important that we don't judge ourselves as being a failure or not being conscious enough or not being on our path if we have some experience in our body that isn't what we want. The opportunity is to use these things to help us move forward, not to shame ourselves and shut ourselves down. And similarly to what you all have been sharing too, psychosomatic stuff matters, whether or not it's true. So for example, I might have some beliefs that hold me back. And if there's something else that I'm able to, I don't realize it's connected, but I find a way that I'm able to shift and reverse that belief. Great. Who cares what it is or whether I literally connect them in my mind. So for example, I have this belief, and I don't know if it's true. And I know there are different body types and blood types and different eating patterns. If ever I start to feel not quite healthy in my body, I know that I want to go eat some protein. And I don't know if it makes a difference. And I know for me, I'm less likely to get sick when I eat protein. It's just I feel better, and it may simply be psychosomatic, and that I now have a greater belief, like I'm taking care of myself and I'm on the path to not get sick, and I don't get sick. And also conventional wisdom tells us that everything that we're experiencing in this body is like our body. It's like genetic and it's here, and it's the experience that we have in this body. And those of us in this panel, of course, know that it can be, right, ancestors and all kinds of other things that are affecting what we have happen in this life. Yeah, all kinds of cords and ancestors and all kinds of things. So those are just a few things. And I guess me personally, if I connect that to myself too, again, long ago, before I knew that I was really open to these things, I felt this deep connection to a really strong line of women, strong, physically strong women, and also maybe psychically strong women. So just, yeah, Akashic records, exactly, all these things. Yeah. So having that belief and having that knowing is part of what got me here and had me being stronger and more able to move through everything. All right. Practitioners, anything else you want to share in this theme before we go to a question? Go ahead, Mystic Angel.
Okay, so I was led to pull some oracle cards, and the cards that came out, it came out in twos: victim mentality and the consciousness of lack. And with this, with these two cards coming inside with what we've been talking about, feeling like the victim of an unhealthy mind, body, and spirit. But in this picture, this man has a rope around his hand, and the other one is free, and he can free himself, right? So that's like saying, like, it was Karen saying, you know, stop telling yourself in your mind that you are, something is wrong with you, or you have bad health and stuff like that. Because when you tell your body that, your body don't know the difference if you plan or not. So you are put.
Oh, we just lost you. We just lost your sound. Oh, Mystic Angel, we can't hear you. Mystic Angel, I don't know what went wrong, but we can't hear you. You're not muted. Say something. I think it came back on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yeah, so I kind of remember anyone remember exactly where you were?
Okay.
All right, well,
I'm trying to make this short. The victim mentality and the conscious of lack, coming out of conscious of lack, thinking that you don't have the resources. All you have to do is ask, research. And then I had honoring the path. The honoring path means you honoring yourself to take the time out to care for yourself, taking the time out to find resources. Taking the steps came up, taking the steps, taking it one step at a time. You know, we've been conditioned to think all the foods that we eat now was good for us, but now we are realizing that, you know, it's not, okay? So you have to be easy with yourself and take it one step at a time by taking planning and action, taking that action, and it leads to your new beginnings. And that's what I got.
that's great. The card's supporting us too. Karen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the breakfast cereal, right? We were all raised to have breakfast cereal, most important meal of the day. Meanwhile, it's like complete crap that we're putting in our bodies. But I wanted to circle back because I don't know, it's kind of been touched on, but some of the other things that I have really seen in my practice, in my own body and in my clients, and Laureli was speaking a little bit to it, and I threw it in the comments, but our Akashic records hold so much sometimes. It depends, of course, on the individual, but there are so many reasons that whatever we're experiencing in our body is actually held in our Akashic records and can be collapsed and released. There's times where we're trapping our emotions, because I believe it was DoveLight talking about how emotions are part of the human experience, right? But we're not meant to hold on to them and allow them to fester within us. So especially if you're holding on to anger, or if you're holding on to grief, or you're holding on to whatever emotion, it's going to start to impact different areas in the body. So it's so important to look at all of these dimensional levels of things with emotions and your Akashic records and your mindset and how you're eating and how much water you're drinking, and looking from that holistic viewpoint of every single aspect. and not to get overwhelmed by it, but to just notice and pay attention, because you might be doing something because it's been passed down through your family line. You might be doing something because you've done it 60 other times every other time you've been to this planet. You might be doing it because that's the programming you received in childhood, and now you think it's normal. There are so many ways to check into why whatever is occurring in your body or in your life is occurring. And there are so many different avenues to explore and ways to shift it. And from what I have seen is that there's really so many ways to shift things, right? I was taught one specific way to go in and clear people's Akashic records, and it's incredibly effective and I love it. But I worked with a woman and I went into her Akashics and I was like, have you done Akashic work? And she had studied with this guy for a year and she had rewritten all of her contracts. I had never seen an Akashic record that was so neat and organized and clean. And it was just like, it was mind blowing. And it wasn't what I had learned, but it was like, there's so many ways to be effective and to make change. And it really just starts with the intention of wanting to shift something and being open to actually shifting it. So I just wanted to throw that all in there too.
Oh, DoveLight has something. Go ahead, DoveLight.
No, I just love that we all have ancestors who love us so much, and we all have ancestors who learn what love is and what's love not. So we all have this polarity of the word. And it is very important to understand that while we're living in the planet Earth, we are going through cycles just like nature's, because we are part of nature. Right now in the fall, everything is leaving. Then the summer come another weather. Then, the winter, the water, the snow gets frozen. And then again, the spring, everything is reborn. It's like the moon has its cycles, when sometimes it's in the new moon in the dark and it's to go inside, and then the full when it comes out. We humans are passing through the same cycle. Sometimes we're going to be in our full energy and sometimes not so much. So this is one of the most important soul lesson, is to genuinely mastering love, to love yourself enough to dedicate time to listen to yourself. And that's one of the biggest things you want to accomplish here by being a human being, because by being in that energy, you naturally have that frequency to irradiate around the world, to shine and to be kind to others. This is mean you're always going to be a saint and perfect? Absolutely not. Again, we are more of polarity, but it will make your journey more flowy in whichever direction is for your highest good to go. One thing I'm getting so strongly from the angelic realm, and I have to just share it really quickly, you do have help in the other side. You do have energies that love you so much, but you have to be open to ask as well. Ask for help and ask them to help you, because they only can help you so much without interfering in your soul progress, the soul journey. Not even an archangel can interfere in a soul contract or a soul journey without being allowed the permission of the free will, which is good in this planet Earth. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. Oh, Kathleen's got something else, and we're almost ready for our question.
This came to me, and I do automatic writing, things like that. But the one thing is always to remember, we are perfect just the way we are. We are not broken. And we will always have guides around us. Someone is always watching us. We're never alone. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yep, that's great. Thank you. All right. I think our first question is from Anissa. Are you ready?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah.
Okay, I'm using my cell phone and I'm at a place I'm not used to being, so thanks for your patience. So about a year ago, I was in a very emotionally horrific car crash. Thankfully, nothing too traumatic body-wise, but I'm still having some residual pain in my upper back and shoulders that's just not going away. I've been lucky enough to be able to do acupuncture, massage, physical therapy, and other strengthening. And I'm just wondering if any of you can tell if the pain that I still have that I can't seem to get rid of, is that an emotional kind of residual blockage that's happening, or is it physical still? If it's physical, is there something more I could be doing for it? Because it's like the last thing that's hanging on is this upper back pain that's not going away.
Okay, shoulder and upper back. And I know you're holding your phone right now, right?
Yeah.
Could you do me a favor and just switch arms right now? And I want to see if what the shape of your shoulders switches. It's not perfectly symmetric. So you're holding your left arm out right now?
Yeah.
So switch back so people can see. Yeah, anyway, there's more of a shape like this on your right side and more of a shape here on your left side, and it doesn't completely switch when you switch hands. So just noticing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bodies are asymmetric too. All right, so you're in this emotionally horrific car crash. Fortunately, not that much physical, but you have shoulder and upper back pain that hasn't gone away. And what's our sense of what it is and what you might do and like what else you might do? All right, Kelsey has something. Go ahead, Kelsey.
I just have a clarifying question real quick. Were you told that it's like nerve pain, muscle, bone? Do you know?
I was just told there was soft tissue damage.
All right, Karen, who's ready to start? Go ahead.
Hey, Anissa. So when you started telling your story and I kind of tapped in, I immediately felt like my abs get very tight and tense, and I got in a very protective stance. And as Laureli was pointing out with your shoulder and everything, there's like this protective, it's like you're holding it back. So even when you're switching, you're still keeping it back in this protective stance. It feels like there's areas that are actually frozen in time, holding and reliving the experience over and over again. So there's like this tautness. And so it's kind of multi-level where there feels like there's a lot of fear, and there's a couple other emotions that I still have to find. One of them is a terror, like actual terror. And it's not quite anger, but there's something a little bit more forceful and out facing rather than the fear that's coming in. But then there's just also like it's holding the actual memory. So it pinged for me when you said you're getting acupuncture, because I feel like that's a really good release. And you could also look to do some more energy work and focusing in, figuring out exactly what emotions are being held there and running different energy work through it. Sound healing can also be very effective. If you have any tuning forks, like you could literally like put the tuning fork on it. Or we can do that, any of the practitioners could do something like that energetically and just helping it shift. But there's this overwhelming feeling of it just being frozen in place. And so it's not healing because it hasn't realized that the trauma is over.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm puppy sitting and the dog decided to bark. So I had to mute myself. But that makes a lot of sense. So thank you.
He was just adding his 2 cents in.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. All right, DoveLight's next.
I was feeling the same thing. But the dog be saying, "Hey, I'm here for you. I'm greeting you. I'm cheering you up, girl." Humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. So even though this was a very challenging experience, please keep remembering the blessing of you being alive and making it through it. And try to have more fun, like in seeing comedies or things that makes you happy. I got the card of knighthood. With strength and courage, you go forth to the commence the work that upon you to do. You are a great warrior and you will succeed. The first thing when I was hearing your voice, I keep hearing soul retrieval, soul retrieval, soul retrieval. With soul retrieval, it's a concept that is around the indigenous world or around the world. They have some sort of that concept, which basically it's when there is a traumatic event, a piece of your light will go to the earth because it's trying to protect itself. So after the event, this is from a spiritual standpoint of view, and after the event happens, that piece stays somewhere in the spiritual realms because the piece doesn't know how to go back. It stays stuck in time. It's like an imprint, energy imprint that stays stuck in time. So this might be related to it. What I'm picking up is also be mindful of using too much one of the side of your hands that doesn't give good balance to the other one. Please be mindful of that through the advice of your doctor or whoever you're following medical advice. Honoring your body is also listening to your body. Try to do exercise to help you with your posture and balancing in both hands. That's what I'm picking up strongly. There is a lot of emotional things to relieve. I have a lot of cup scars in the tarot. And the other thing that they're telling me is that you are worrying too much at night. If you're going to have to live like this forever, you're worrying too much at night to the point that it's blocking your resting time. Remember that from a spiritual point of view, when your physical body goes to sleep, your soul goes home, goes to the astral realm, goes to heal, and the body regenerates itself through rest. And of course, as we know, we all have different times to how much our body needs to sleep, but we should not block our sleeping time through worry because it's not gonna help us. It's normal that we worry about these things, but worry, it's only when you do too long for worry, what you're doing is you're making a soup of bringing worry reality back into your life to manifest, and you don't want to do that. So that's what I'm picking up. Choose to focus on the lighter side of life. And if you are open, you could do a soul retrieval with a practitioner that knows. I also do them as well, but just take that in consideration, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, DoveLight. I appreciate it so much.
Great. I'm going to jump in just a little bit, Kelsey, before you go, because the thing that was coming through for me, it just seems so related, similar to that. So shoulder is spelled the same as shoulder. So often when we have stuff with our shoulders, it's because we're shoulding, right? Caring so much. And I remember from you talking about it that watching the accident brought up all kinds of things about your dad. Right. And so I was just thinking that you might have thoughts of shoulds of like how you should have pre-seen the accident or done something to prevent it or been able to do something more to help or and that there could be all sorts of should thoughts about what happened with your dad.
Well, there's a lot of the should still that I should have done more to help the gentleman who passed away. That's still super strong. And even the person I was with, we were talking about the other day, he still feels like there was more that we should have done. So that makes a lot of sense, unfortunately.
Yeah, so your shoulders might be here physically letting you know that you're still in that should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so working with whomever, right, can support you and yeah. So again, so if so choose someone else that you care about in your life and put them in that car that you were in, not you. And they're telling you all about the accident. Are you shoulding them?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so playing with that contrast of would you be shoulding
Okay.
someone else? And is it fair that you're shoulding yourself?
Yeah, I would definitely give them grace. So
Yeah, and I believe that our lessons are helpful for us to move forward, not for shoulding and shaming ourselves for the past. And then also, you so had to watch out for your own safety in that setting too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Kelsey.
So on a scale of like 1 to 10, what would you rate the severity of it? I'm just curious.
Of the pain that I feel when it's at its worst.
Yeah, like in general.
Thankfully it's only like out of 5.
Okay. So what I picked up was kind of similar to what others are saying. There's like a dark energy that's in there. So I think some of that lingering like trauma or just the imprint, the energetic imprint of what happened is still kind of like in that area. So doing some work to release that energetically will help a lot. way I'd like to do that is just really just creating space to be like that, like feeling when it comes up, breathing into it, surrendering to the feeling, and literally just breathing with it, and it helps to let it like pass through. Sometimes what I've learned through my experience and what I've studied is that sometimes if you get an injury and it's taking a long time to heal, there could be a component of some type of a virus that could be lingering that's like causing, it's kind of like taking advantage of a weakened area. I know that's a little out there, but in terms of like my own healing and what's helped me the most is like becoming aware of how viruses can stick around and then healing them with herbs and natural remedies to like kill that off. And a lot of people have had success doing that, but like, yeah, what the viruses do is they actually like, they tend to really bog down like the nerves, and so there could be some type of a nerve thing going on. That's what I'm picking up. And something that you could do if you're not already is like do warm and cold packs when it gets uncomfortable. You do a warm pack for 30 minutes in the morning and then do 2 cold packs throughout the day for 20 minutes. I swear by this. Like I do this when I have some type of ache on my body and it helps so much. So just nourishing it with some I guess temperature therapy might be helpful for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I say, of course, Aylin would want you to see a structural integration practitioner too to look at some other soft tissue stuff. Kathleen.
Hi, Nisa.
Hi.
I got a lot of that with the holding. As soon as you were talking about the shoulder, I got that tightness and that trauma. I was like, yeah, holding on to what was going on. And I also got it that that's where kind of like your weak point, and you probably have other things and even in other lifetimes, and that's kind of like where it goes. So it's a combination of many things, not just that. The one thing I got is, I know we're talking about energy work and things, but have you ever done automatic writing?
No, I haven't.
Write down everything you're thinking. Take a piece of paper, light a candle, or go somewhere quiet. Just write down every single thing, no matter what it is. Just write as fast as you can. No matter what it is, even if it's bad words, write everything you're feeling. Burn it, burn it. The next day, write again, and it'll start releasing.
Okay.
It's really helped me. So it's something that I've been doing a lot of, and I've taken classes in it. So I also wanted to email me so we can. Okay, email me.
Okay.
I want to offer something to you. Okay.
Great. It's great, Kathleen. Yeah, because some people may have trouble expressing verbally, which I, of course, think is such a great thing. So writing, expressing is like such an important thing. So writing is one way to do that. Great. All right, Mystic Angel, you look like you had something to share. Did you want to share something? Yeah, let's get you unmuted.
No, I was just agreeing with Kathleen about the writing, because I do that all the time. My journal, write down my thoughts, whatever it is, no matter if it sounds stupid or weird, I just write it, and that's a real big relief.
Oh, we lost your sound again. We lost your sound again. Mystic Angel, we lost your sound again. All right. Yeah, I don't know how we get it back.
My internet is acting up.
Yeah, we got you again. All right.
Okay.
Your relighting is such a release.
My internet is acting up for some reason. But yes, I was just agreeing with Kathleen about the writing, your journaling, you're writing it down, burn it, putting out in the ethers in the air, and you let your angels know that surround you to help you transmute that in negative energy or whatever kind of energy that's heavy on you, and transmute it in something that you can use positive. So yeah, I was just agreeing with that.
Great.
Thank you, Mystic Angel.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, Kelsey and DoveLight have a bit more.
Yeah, so I just realized, like, you know, we have like a group collective message going on right now from our conversation, which was to pray to your light team, and also to utilize the power of your mind to connect with your body that you can heal, because that's what I think DoveLight and Karen and everybody was talking about. So that's kind of what's coming through that I think will help you. First of all, praying to your light team for guidance on how to help heal it, and they'll show you the answers. Like, you have the intention that you want to feel better and you really want to like heal that and put attention to that, so they will guide you. This is probably part of the guiding as well, like this experience here. And then also, when you connect your thoughts to that area of your body, being like, maybe like before you go to bed every night, you could be like, my body is relaxing and feeling better. I know that it's healing. You could say this out loud or in your head, and just connecting to that healing energy within your body mentally. It'll start getting that rolling for you.
Okay. Thank you.
And DoveLight.
From a spiritual point of view, I don't know about the situation mentioned with the person before, but I keep hearing that we do the best we can with the knowledge we have at the moment. So we should not blame ourselves for being who we are at the present moment. So this is part of everybody's actually learning process. And the other thing that keeps repeating is that you are not that powerful to go against a person's soul contract. To whatever that person was choosing to pass through it, it was part of his own free will to pass through it. We can advise people, we can guide people, we can suggest, but we can never ever do that for them, because that's not true learning. They might even don't want the help. They might not even know how to ask for help. And that's when we have to put our ego on the side and realize that everybody has the power to choose through their thoughts, through their action. You have nothing to do with that. Not even if you wanted to do it, you will not have nothing to do with that. And you have to be humble enough to honor that as well. So I don't know what's going on behind that, but I just have to share that. And my today a special event is for readings, but if somebody feels called to something else, I will be open to switch it for anything else in my website.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. Kelsey's got a bit more.
Yeah, one thing just came to mind. One last thing. Forgiveness. Sorry if somebody else mentioned this, but forgiveness. So forgiving yourself in that situation. I think that's going to be, and forgiving others as well, but that really helps to clear the energy as well.
Yeah. Okay. Got to work on that.
Well, and it's actually stop working on that. Like, to hold those things on, it's like gripping a rope and holding a rope. And so it's the letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. So I think we're doing the both and, right? There might be something physical and there's definitely some other, psychological, emotional. I'm glad you're letting it only be a 5 at its worst.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, great. Thanks so much,
you.
Anissa, for jumping in and asking a question. All right, we are open for more questions. I'll put the information again in the chat. You can pay by PayPal or Venmo. So sliding scale, so you get to choose what you pay, and we have a lower price for BIPOC folks. And practitioners, we don't have another question coming in. We can ask questions of the panel also. Oh, DoveLight has something to share or ask. DoveLight?
Yes, I would love to ask Kelsey or anybody, please, what are your best recommendations as the weather is getting colder, like with vitamins, your natural things to drink or to add to your diet, if it's possible?
Yeah, so what to do when it's getting colder. One thing I want to share, just for so many people, it's getting darker, is having a lot of light, the full spectrum light, getting as much of the sunlight as they can while it's here. We're up in the Northwest and it's pretty dark. And so there are all sorts of people that I just know that it's a topic for them. And so I'm recommending that they get their light going. Because right now, we're in today is the steepest part of the curve of when the light is changing. For the southern hemisphere, it's getting brighter. And for the northern hemisphere, it's getting darker. All right. Yeah. So who else wants to share as it's getting colder?
Can you
How to support?
repeat the question? It was just
It
recommendations
was
for as it gets
so
colder.
recommendations as it's getting colder, how to support the body, how to support, yeah, in whatever way, like herbs or anything like that. As we're into this season. Kathleen?
Well, make sure your immune system is strong, especially with flu season and cold season coming. Taking things like reishi, look at those kinds of herbs like cardiaca, reishi, those kinds of things that help with the immune system. And also, I've been doing a lot of research on magnesium lately, and magnesium is something that is not talked about like it should be. We are all deficient in magnesium in one way or another, and it's good to check it. Doctors don't always talk about it, but a lot of people can't take it, because they have IBS, things like that. But there are other alternatives. There's liquids, and there's actually a doctor that has come up with a magnesium for people that have IBS. So it's really important to make sure that you check that a lot, to make sure they have it. It affects so many things. And even with the cold weather and everything, I think it's really important. Vitamin D isn't as important as we think it is, even though we need it. We don't need as much as they say we do. But vitamin C, you need a lot of it, and get not ascorbic acid. Get the real stuff, which is hard to find in the US. Like camu and the fruit, the ones with there are companies out there, but you really have to research it. But ascorbic acid is not good for you. But vitamin C only stays in your body 2 to 4 hours. So you need, take it like when you get up before you go to bed. But vitamin C is real important, especially now in the winter coming. Good for everything.
All right, thank you. All right, Karen's got something.
I went to unmute and I moved. So in addition to the supplements and making sure that your immune system is primed and ready to fight off whatever you might get exposed to, which also I would add includes eating fresh fruits and vegetables, eating raw foods rather than, pre-cooked, preservative-filled foods and sodas and yada, yada, yada. But I also would recommend following the example that nature is setting of the slowing down, of, like allowing this time, it's getting darker earlier. Maybe, if it feels good to you, also slowing down, whether you're increasing your sleep or just increasing your rest, reading a book, being, just really checking in with your energy level and not deciding that just because, society might have us working or acting or being active for so many hours, and that's what the standard is. Check in with your body and of course, what's available to you in your life, but maybe, tucking in a little earlier, enjoying some warm liquids, the broths, the teas, kind of just inviting that in, and that slowness and that mindfulness, and really taking this opportunity to, as fall is happening, right, letting go of all that's no longer serving us, letting go of everything that's happened this year that we don't want to carry into the next year, and then allowing for that dormancy so that we have the energy come spring to really like catapult forward and to bloom whatever we're ready to bring in for the next year.
Great, thanks. Kelsey's got something too.
Yeah, I have some ideas here. So Dale says, how much magnesium? What kind of vitamin C? Yes. Well, of course, Kathleen probably has an answer for that. But I can also share for the vitamin C, there's a really good brand called Zimergy. It's probably the cleanest brand that you could get. It's a little bit more on the pricey side, but it's worth the investment, because I always think it's really worth investing in your health so that you're not suffering down the road. But I highly recommend that for the vitamin C. They have one called Micro C. I use it daily. It has rose hips in it too, and rose hips is also really good for adding natural vitamin C. So for the fall, You can start bringing in warming herbs. So herbs like ginger, turmeric, cardamom, all those like kind of spicy, nutmeg, the spices that are really popular for the fall season. Those are really good to bring in, you know, because it gets a little bit colder. So we want to balance it with some warming foods and like nourishing things. I do agree with Karen that like raw is always best for healing the body. But the fall is an appropriate time if you're like more plant-based to bring in some cooked veggies. People tend to really appreciate the warm foods in the fall. So I definitely think there's room to do that. The best time to eat it would be probably in the evening or towards the last half of the day. It's always good to do raw the first half of the day because it gets your body cleansing and supports it in its body systems. And then you can save like fat, animal protein, avocado, cooked vegetables towards the last half of the day. And I think vitamin C is so crucial during this time. Anything that boosts the immune system. Zinc, liquid zinc sulfate is good. Medicinal mushrooms are amazing. There's reishi. There's also chaga is a really great medicinal mushroom. I agree with the magnesium. Magnesium is really deficient, like in the soil of the produce that you know are stocked in our stores, and that's kind of why it's really important to supplement with it. I use magnesium glycinate myself. There's different types of it. Magnesium glycinate is just a really good like all around magnesium. And I would say enjoy and experience the fun foods that are coming out for the season. There's going to be apples, there's going to be pumpkins, there's going to be winter squash. There's going to be all these like really fun foods that are they come out in the fall. So let yourself experience that and have fun with it and play and just bring that really beautiful frequency in. And then rest and take care of yourself. It's a time for going inward. So doing Epsom salt baths or just doing fun, intuitive little exercises like using your oracle cards. I think that's always good to do during this time. And then one last thing is that I realized I have an aversion to the fall. Like I used to. It was more extreme where like I hated going into the darkness. I wanted summer, I wanted the sun. And then I started to realize I'm like, what is the spiritual message behind that? And I kind of realized that like there's something there about it's hard for me to go into darkness and into pain. So I have resistance toward darkness. So I think that there's, you know, if you're somebody that kind of senses that, there's always deeper metaphysical reasons to look into things like that, which is really fascinating.
Yeah, that was a great list. I know several of us are wanting to know more about that vitamin C brand. If you could post that in the chat or spell it out for us too, the people in the recording might want to know.
Yeah, it's Vimergy, V as in Victor, IMERGY, and it's just vimergy.com. They have, oh my gosh, you can trust their products. Like a lot of supplements in the US aren't regulated and they rip you off. These guys are like really good quality and really care about, you know, the people they're serving.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if you get a link to the vitamin C you're talking about too, people might want to see that. And then let's see, Kathleen's got a bit more to share about this question.
Well, it was just really quick. I looked up that company. It's their website is rnareset.com, and you can do a little test to see if you need magnesium. If you're deficient.
And go ahead, if one's deficient.
Yeah, if they're deficient in magnesium, there's a little test on there you can take.
A couple of things. One is you're saying it doesn't work for
this company is good for people if you have IBS. This one, people can take it because there's a lot of people that it sets their, you know, they'll get diarrhea and just all kinds of things. Because if you take too much, you can't overdo magnesium, but if you take too much, you get diarrhea. If you don't have enough, you get constipation. But yeah, it's a fascinating thing to learn about magnesium.
And someone wrote in the chat about 8 forms of magnesium. They usually take magnesium theonced. And does it matter what form?
Well, everybody's different. You know, some people do tablets, they do liquid, they do sprays.
Well,
Everybody's different.
But is theonced is it a particular, is it a different molecular? I'll look it up. I'm the biochemist person. Okay, so I'll go take a look at that. And
Yeah, I'm not a chemist.
okay, yeah, don't worry that the link is that long, that goes to the right thing. We don't care that it's a long link. So, but I guess so
Okay.
Kathleen, I'm not quite tracking. Which is the magnesium that's okay to take if someone has IBS?
RNA Reset is the company, and the product is REMAG. REMAG is the magnesium. And the doctor's name is Dr. Carolyn Dean, and she's been studying it for like over 20 years. She actually helped develop it.
Okay, I think I found it on not necessarily our favorite site, but it's going to be another long link probably, as it is on Amazon, I think. That's the Remag. And they have
Yeah, but you
Remite
can-
also.
Let me see what her home. I thought it's RANR.
I just put the URL in the link.
It wasn't
It's
real.
directly to the website.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that. And I'll go look up that other form. The chemical name. Okay, here we go. Magnesium theonced, and figure out what that is. All right, any other questions? And this was, for those who just joined, this was about taking care of ourselves as we've turned into fall and we're heading into winter, and how to take care of our bodies. That's where this came from. This question, yeah. See if anyone has anything else, and then see if I get a quick answer to this question before we go on to what's next.
I'll say
I
one
don't know
more
where
thing.
Threonate? Is it threonate? The theonced? 'Cause I've
Yes,
got threonate coming up.
yes. THREONATE.
Okay, threonate.
I can share a little bit more about that.
Go ahead.
Magnesium threonate is really good for like your nerves and your nervous system. That's what I know about that one. There's one I know of called Neuromag, and that's helpful for like if you have certain ailments in your body that you're trying to heal. And then one that I shared was magnesium glycinate, which is like a good general all-around one.
So I found out that the threonate is a synthesized form. So I'd have to do a little bit more poking around to see. I mean, in general, I'd say I'm not like the greatest fan of synthesized things, but sometimes it's useful, right? We get greater quantity of something, or it could be more pure, but energetically, I just wonder that it's not the same. But then extracting everything is not so great either for the environment. So that's a mixture of things. That's just my general impression. I don't know if anyone has any other comments about that too. Probably we're
I was gonna say, in terms of like what to do for the oncoming fall and also what supplements to take, again, I'm a huge proponent of like people tapping into their own intuition. So you can actually like ask your body the question, like, does my body want to take this supplement, and see what comes up. You would also pray to your light team. They can help assist you in getting those answers too. But help like starting to create that relationship of you tuning into your own body to see like if that's appropriate for you or not.
DoveLight.
I just love that. Again, it's about listening and remember. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you all. And yeah, because I was actually start drinking cacao because of the magnesium. It's actually a natural way to drink it, but not everybody has to drink the same dose. Some people can do 40 grams, some people can do 30, some people can do 10. And it's really up to the person. So nobody can tell you exactly how much cacao you can drink. It's only your body, even if it's ceremonial, even if you do it in a spiritual way. So I love that. What I was picking up, it's that when we are scared or when we're passing through something difficult, we forget to breathe. And breathing is extremely important for the human body, and also to remember that the fall, naturally we can see that the air is coming, it's cleansing. So we can tap into remember how to properly breathe. However, again, you have to listen to your own body. There is different breathing techniques around, but again, you have to listen and do as possible, you know. Not everything is good for everybody, but remember that the breath of life, the breath is the first breath that we take when we're born into the physical realm, and it will be the last one when we leave this world. So breathing, it's a very important medicine. It's naturally available for us. If we don't have any pharmacy or any supplements or anything, remember to go back to your conscious breath.
Great. Yeah, I had no idea that cacao was so high in magnesium. Found something on the web. Yeah, great. Let's see. So we've got a few personal questions that are coming, personal questions that are coming in. So let's see. So, and a couple of you are asking, let's see. So it supports us greatly if you pay to ask questions on the panel. It supports us all to be here in this process with all the admin work and the marketing work that we do to have these events happen. So I know Daniel might have a question, and then Kim might have a question too. Yeah, I'm appreciating the information. Yeah, so let's go ahead. We've got time for both of them if you're both wanting to ask. I don't think anyone else has jumped in line. Let's just make sure. If anyone else has jumped in line and you paid to ask a question and I have not noticed, please let me know. Yeah. All right, well, I think so. Daniel's first and then Kim is next.
I can pass to Kim, actually.
Oh, okay. So let's see. So Kim is and Kim, yeah, it's just so Venmo. It's right there in the chat, and then you can pay after we answer if you want, just to keep everything moving. And I can give you the 4 numbers of my phone number too, if that's helpful. They're in some of the messages in the chat. Okay, Kim, what is your question?
God, how do you do this?
The technology or the how to word the question?
Is where and when will find a new house to move into new
Yeah, take your time.
rental.
Okay, you want to go to
How do I get the volume up?
we can hear you. Can you not hear us?
I can't hear you very well at
Okay.
all.
You're on a
Sorry.
phone. Are you on a phone?
Yes, and I've
Does it
turned
have-
up the volume all the way.
Is it on do you have it on speaker or is it on just it might not be on
Well,
speaker?
how do I get back to that? Not familiar with technology here, so.
Okay, let's see. So on Zoom. Well, so just go
Yes.
to where the app is on Zoom. Are we coming through on your phone?
Yes, you are. I'm on the chat page and it's got close or a bell. That's
I think close the chat.
okay. Thank you.
And then you still can't hear us well though, right?
Not very well at all, but I can still barely hear you. That's okay.
Yeah, well, we want you to be able to hear when we answer. Let me I'll see if I can join on my phone and I'll tell you where it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a moment. Anyone else on the panel is on a phone? Or Nissa, if you see where it is on your phone, how you can switch to, is Nissa still here? Yeah, if you can switch to the volume.
Well, I've already got the volume button all the way to.
It's not the button. I'm wondering if you're not on speaker.
Correct.
Okay,
I agree
let's
with
see.
you.
All right, so I'm just getting myself in here right now. Okay,
Thank
no
you.
audio. So when I tap, let's see, I'm going to Oh, I'm not on audio. Okay, I'm going to have to turn off audio here for a moment. I'll be right back.
So I know for me, when I have it so that I can see everyone and I tap my screen in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little microphone that you can tap on and off. I see that. Maybe that needs to be activated.
I pressed the icon in the upper left and I don't get anything.
It goes white when you actually tap it. It took me a while to tap it to make it effective earlier today.
It's white, and now I see you fine.
And you can swipe to the left or the right to see more people.
Okay.
We want you to be able to hear us, though. We can hear you just fine. We can't hear you right now, though. Let me see if you got muted. You did, you got muted. It should ask you to unmute. Okay, great.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, okay. Can you hear us at all?
Just barely. I can. It's good enough for me. I don't want to,
Okay,
take
you
your
can hear.
time.
And I just have to switch the audio around for the recording in a moment, but if you hold us, I know you won't be able to see us. If you hold us close enough to your ear, you can hear us. I know we should talk so you can tell if you can hear us when we're. Is that working? So you can hear?
I'm still hearing the same low amount.
Okay, but you can hear enough. All right, I'm gonna leave and let me get my audio back on.
Thank you. It's Mercury retrograde. I totally agree. Oh.
Okay, let's see, am I back on audio?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry, it's not louder. All right, everyone, we will do our best to speak. Okay, so your question is, where and when will I find a new rental house to move into?
Yes. I'm in the Seattle area.
You're in the Seattle area, okay. And you, do you want to say a little bit about how you come to be looking for a new place right now? Hearing that story, we might pick up
Yes.
more things.
Right. I spent 20 years in Edmonds, Washington, and the same landlords set me up at a nearby old farmhouse that was remodeled for another 5.5 years. The first house had to be raised so that they could build a house for their son. And then they helped move me over here. And now they decided that the rent needs to go up 72%. So that's too much for me. And I have a fledgling acupuncture practice that I practice out of my home. And I can't, work that out financially. So I need to find another place to move to. I'm having trouble finding one.
Yeah. The Seattle market is crazy.
Yes. And I'm even looking around Salem because I have a friend that lives there.
Salem, Oregon?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I'm all the way out in North Bend, outside North Bend. Oh yeah, I'm familiar
I
with.
used to live in Falls City for 20 years. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Have you been looking further east out, even past Falls City or a little bit north?
I've not been looking there. It's too damp for me, really. And it's too much of the Microsoft and the Amazon
Yep.
group.
Yeah, you sound energetically softer and more emotional. And
Yes.
not
yeah,
quite
that's
the right fit for. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I know Anissa is in Philomath. That's closer to Corvallis, which is relatively close to Salem.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder about Salem too. How much time have you spent in Salem? You said you know someone there?
Yes, I do. A dear friend, I do want to, she just texted me. She says, mention your hip pain. Left hip and knee and ankle have been relatively painful for me during this whole experience.
Particularly during this whole experience of
Moving and looking for a place to live. I've moved all of the things I own into storage, and I'm sleeping on my girlfriend's daybed in Edmonds. It's temporary, of course.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Karen has an answer for you. So let's go ahead with Karen.
thank you.
So I know nothing about the Seattle area, so I can't answer the where. But one thing that I keep feeling is that you're very deeply rooted to where you were living. And it feels like you need to energetically disconnect from that first to be open to finding your next place. So you're beautifully rounded, and it feels very much like the land that you've been on is very, very supportive to you. And I would go so far as to say you've lived there before in other lifetimes. So it feels as though there needs to be a release of that safety and that warmth and connection that you hold to that land so that you can move on. And as I
Okay.
say that, I'm feeling this trepidation in your energy of like, but I don't want to. So it's totally up to you. You don't have to do that, but that it really feels like you're just so connected. And it's like this safety, security, like really beautiful relationship. But there's a lot for you if you can release that.
Good point. Thank you.
And just what Karen just shared, that makes sense too in terms of your left leg, your left hip, leg, and ankle, like trying to rip out your root, not wanting to rip it, and the tension on that whole side of your body. Yeah, and Karen's nodding if you can't see her.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. An ability to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just jumping. The reason why I was mentioning some of the other areas like Corvallis around there is I used to run fairs in Salem. And while we had some people come, there's just such a consciousness culture is not as high in Salem as it is in Corvallis, which is just down the road. Which is why I mentioned in terms of starting your practice. Maybe there's more of a need for it in Salem. But... All right. Salem does have that great co-op store though. So there's definitely community.
Good to know.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Kelsey, well, I should say Corvallis is a much smaller town and they have two beautiful co-ops, and Salem is much bigger and they only have that one. They do have one beautiful one, but all right, Kelsey.
Okay, so I pulled a card for you. I always, somebody did this with me, and I think like you have your own intuitive wisdom from this card. So I encourage you to kind of tap into that as well. Like, what does this card mean for you? So it says, full moon in Aquarius, be real. And I mean, there is, thank you. We see here that there is like obviously some nature, a river, the person is gathering water in the river, and it kind of to me feels like the universe is trying to tell you like find a place where you can connect with nature. I like if you have any type of healing practice or business that you're doing, being in nature really assists with that energy and that flow. And so I think that it's trying to guide you there. Also, what Karen was suggesting, the full moon actually is here to help us when we need to release. So I think connecting with full moons will help you to clear that energy. Like you can ask or visualize the full moon assisting and pulling that energy from that old place and doing like your own connection that way. Definitely like the moon can help you out. And then I want to read what the booklet says. I know it's kind of funner if I do my own intuitive reading, but I actually think the booklet probably has more wisdom on this. So it says, sometimes we pursue someone or something for all the wrong reasons. Our ego gets involved, and before we know it, we're driving ourselves crazy by chasing something that may not even be the right for us. This card reminds you that sometimes you need to back off a little, worry less, and trust more. Life is about fun and laughter, but you'll take all the fun out of it if you spend too long in your head rather than in your heart. You might win, but it might not be a great victory. Release. So again, that theme of release and tapping into your heart space to guide you. Like this is your one life. Like, where do you want to live? Where does it feel good to be in? Like, let that guide you right now. And just come with this like playful curiosity of where, you know, it's connecting to your spiritual self, asking God, where are you meant to go next? Where is the best energy for you right now? And I think that'll help a lot.
I agree with you. The water theme is very important. It's a reminder to stay in the flow of things.
Yeah.
So I've become kind of a vagabond healer lately, and it's been quite a nice surprise. Had to load my car up to the gills, as they say. But it's been eye-opening and heartwarming also with the kind of intensive sessions I've been able to give. And I'm now focused back. You know, I've been away for about 2 weeks doing that, and now I'm back and ready to try to search out where to move to. And all the various online listings are I'm finding scams everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So that's not working as well.
Well, I wonder if your friend is in Salem, have her go to that co-op. Does your friend know which one it is?
She sure does. Yeah, just down the
Yeah,
street.
they've got a huge board, so there might be some good places to rent there. And I
Oh,
know
that's a
there's
great
like
idea.
Corvallis is just down the. I don't know exactly how far it is. It's close, but they have those great other stores too. So there might be things that you can find. That you might want to be
Right.
by your friend. Yeah, and there were some other. Trying to think. I can go look up the address where we used to have fairs. There's also oh goodness, I can't remember what other, there's some sort of other motion like body work is kind of studio. So going to all those places and posting that you're looking for a place to live too. I think so connecting with your community is the way you'll find a good place. So we've got
Oh, that makes total
Kathleen,
sense. Yeah.
and then Mystic Angel and then DoveLight. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Hi. I did an intuitive art drawing just real quick, and I wasn't going to do it, but I've been called to do it, so I'm going to. So I got that you had stagnation. It was time to leave where you were, and that you have deep wisdom and truth and understanding, and that just be neutral in this situation. Be neutral, and look at it as just kind of be laid back and joyful about it. And just sit down and take some quiet time and visualize the perfect place you want. Write it down, put it out there in the universe, and it'll show up. But it was time for you to go on and change and just kind of like just let it be. Don't put so much energy into it, like it's almost blocking your getting the place you're looking for.
Thank you.
Right, and Mike, one of our participants, looked it up. It's 37 miles from Salem to Corvallis. So that's the kind of distance I was talking about. You might have clients from Corvallis.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay. Excellent.
right.
Thank you, ladies.
Wait, we've got more. So Mystic Angel has something and then DoveLight has something. So Mystic Angel,
Oh,
you're
okay.
next.
I just wanted to just encourage you that the experience that I have been through where I had to up and leave and move. I didn't realize and recognize that spirit was telling me to move, to go. And when I realized that it was time for me to go, I was afraid, I was scared, I didn't know where I was going, and then ended up finding out I was going somewhere thousands of miles away from my family, having no family, and just being aware of your intuition, being aware of yourself, your thoughts, how you feel, it plays a big difference. I always say, your awareness is your best protection, because I say if your intuition or that gut feeling telling you something, listen to it, because if you don't, you might suffer some consequence that you could have, not have to come in your life. So in my journey 3 years ago, I moved from Memphis, Tennessee, all the way to San Diego, California, and didn't know nobody, didn't have no family. I didn't know what was going on. I went through 2 divorces, domestic violence, all kinds of things was going on in my life that I was just like, I was having a tower moment. The tower card and the tarot is like everything is just being brought down. So it's like, hey, come on. Now I meditate and I pray to my spirit team, my angels. I call them like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on, but they've been showing me and guiding me and leading me. But it was just up to me to push my ego to the side and listen. And when I started listening and then I started following the prompt spirit was giving me, woo, it was like a breath of fresh air. And I'm just so glad that I was able to listen.
That's
so
great.
Stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. And then I think DoveLight's next.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I have a lot of cards that say the same thing. I got Earth Angel. Earth Angel are people of great light and inspiration. They walk among us in every day. In fact, you might be one of them. This is definitely, you are an Earth Angel. You have a soul mission involving being of service to people. However, it's very important for you to have your rituals or your techniques that help you to remove the energy of your client. You are taking too much from there, and that's been absorbing your energy field. And you don't need to pass through that. It's going to actually make it heavier for you. So if you are already not doing techniques to do not absorb your clients' energies in a healthy way, like they're not yours to begin with. You're supposed to help them move in and send them to the light in the high school. You're not supposed to take them with you. So that's the first thing they're telling me. So please, you can research about techniques to remove those energies. Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind into. I'm surprised that you were talking about scans, because I have the 7 of Swords in my tarot deck that I was putting up for you. And that's definitely, be careful of the scammer, if there is an energy of somebody trying to steal or lying about where to find a place. There is also the Hangman, which is telling me that the reason why you're not moving yet, it's because sometimes when doors don't open for you at that moment, it's because your spirit guides might be saving you for something, it's the divine timing. You're not moving at the moment. You want to move it like yesterday, but you're not moving like yesterday because actually they're helping you to don't pass through some difficulties. So those just don't go anywhere. So this is about faith and perseverance and allowing yourself to listen to your intuition, just like our other friends were saying. The Hangman is going to help you to change perspective. There is definitely a possibility that you're going to find something really soon. I feel like it's going to be through a friend. If like you have like a friend, like a masculine friend, or somebody who has a lot of confidence in himself. But this is also a life lesson again about trusting your connection to spirit. I can definitely see you finding a place that you're gonna love, and I can definitely see you moving into that. But it is about asking for help to the spirit guide and taking action, but not just any action. This has to be divine guided action. And why? Because your soul purpose is involved to trusting the divine, trusting your gift, and trusting yourself. And trust is something that you cannot buy in the supermarket, or you can ask for help to anybody. That's something that you have a relationship with the divine that you have to come within. So that's what I'm picking up for you. Do not worry about it. And I feel that this place might be close to a hospital or something related to healthcare around the area. That's how you're gonna know that that's you're going in the right direction. But what they're telling me is that they want you again to ask for a specific sign to where to move, and they're gonna show it to you. They're telling me straight. I'm not gonna tell you which symbol because I want you to trust that for yourself. But they're telling me that if you ask us for the symbol or the signs of where you're supposed to move, we're gonna give it to you, and you will be able to listen because now you're more open.
Oh, yes. Wow, that makes total sense. You know, the protection is so right. I just did 20, I think 26 intensive sessions. I'm a Shen physio-emotional release therapist, and I did those in a month for this one person, and phenomenal lessons learned and trust in what developed for her. It was just astounding and really opened my eyes and my heart. And I started to wear some shungite, a bracelet that a friend loaned me. And shungite helps to dispel not only electromagnetic frequencies, but it helps you to not absorb their negative energies. And it's helped me in the last few days for sure.
Great.
So that's just one
Yeah.
suggestion somebody made, and I tried it and I think it's working.
I don't want to interrupt. DoveLight, was there more you're going to share? Because
No, I just think it's great that she's following her intuition. That's what I put at heart. Like, awesome.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yes, Kelsey was saying the shungite helped lead you here. Part is this, I know it arose for me in that share, and I don't know if this was already said. If you're still feeling angry and that it's unfair and like fighting with your landlords, that would also, just if you're energetically fighting with, that
I'm
would,
not.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Because that would,
Oh no,
yeah.
gosh, I went through the grief process in the beginning. That was in April. And by now I just don't have any energy around resentment or anger at all. So,
Okay, great.
no, I'm just trying to find a place in my world.
Well, your energies are much more of a match for Oregon, much more so than the Seattle area.
Oh, okay.
So the energies that I feel in you, it's in this area, it's more similar to Bellingham and Port Townsend, or Oregon, definitely Portland and Eugene and like Corvallis, and not quite as much in Salem, but it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I love the coast. I just haven't found anything out there yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, and
Do you think it would be worth me traveling down there for a few days?
I do, and I think driving all along the coast. I know Kelsey's got something else to share too. The northern part of the Oregon coast, there's more of a population there. I'm thinking in terms of starting a business. A lot of the Oregon coast is lovely, and I assume it's not a big enough center, but in Yachats, have you been to Yachats before?
I love Yachats. Yeah, a friend of mine used to go there. Yeah, and I visited it a couple times. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
That's
Kelsey's got something. Go ahead, Kelsey.
I think you definitely 100% need to visit the coast.
Okay.
Like, if that resonates with you, I'm off video, here I am. If that resonates with you, I think you should definitely look into that, because again, that ties into like following your heart. And also the ocean is just incredibly healing.
Yes.
And cleansing too. So that might be something that will help you like cleanse.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That feels so good. Thank you, ladies. It's just been a breath of fresh air to listen to all that you've had to say. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I had the info. Oh, and a couple other things just were mentioned. Someone looked up home. Where is it? Home Center Healing is a place in Salem. And then it was Sacred Space Spiritual Center, where I used to have fairs. So just examples of spiritual community in Salem.
Oh, Home Sacred Space. And the other was again?
homecenterhealing.com. Yeah, homecenterhealing.com. And it was Sacred Space Spiritual Center.org is where I used to hold my fairs. They still have a website up, so they might still be meeting, but I know the place where they were meeting, they're no longer in that physical space anymore.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great. Okay.
Great. All right, great.
We've
and
got a way to go.
Yeah, it's great. And the information for Venmo, I'll put it again in chat, so it'll be towards the bottom of your chat. And then thank you so much, Kim. And I think Daniel has a question. Daniel, did you want to jump in?
Is there anybody else that's got a question?
I don't think so. Is anyone else waiting in line to ask a question? I don't think we have anyone. Yeah, I think it's you. If you still want to ask, yeah.
this would sort of change the pace and direction. So I'm trying to feel if that's part of the flow or not. It was an hour ago, but you know.
I think it's okay.
You think?
Mhm.
Well, we'll see. And can I do the payment after I ask? Just to
Yeah,
keep the
that's
flow going?
fine. That's fine.
Okay. Actually, let me throw a camera on here. Yeah. Hello. This is maybe more in the tenor of like earlier this evening when we were introducing ourselves, because this is actually not a question about me. It's a question about you, panelists. Kind of where I'm coming from is that I have just a really deep respect for the experiences that life brings us personally, that it's, you know, life is like an ongoing classroom, very specifically tailored so that the details and the themes of our lives are really important. So I'm wondering if, this isn't required answers, but I think through my life, how in health and wellness focus that I would enter a period of time where I go, oh, this is so amazing. This is clearly where the road I need to go down. And, I've kind of found my place in life, or I've found what the thing that works for me, the frame of reference or the modality or something like that, the specific thought process. And that was the truest thing. And through time, that stayed true until it sort of became not true. And ultimately, it became unworkable for me to stay with that kind of central focus or central theme in my life. And kind of looking back, it was like giving up that which had been the answer to prayers, which turned into the next important kind of focus of my life or theme, that I had to go through like a sort of a version of a death process of letting go of that which seemed like the key to life. So I'm just interested if anybody has any, kind of, because we all have our frameworks that are working for us now. And I'm wondering if anybody has any thoughts about that, of needing to give up a framework that was really the kind of like the answer at one time, and what that maybe was like to give up something that was so organizing for your life in order to move forward. I hope that makes sense. I can clarify it if I'm not being very clear.
Yeah, it does. And that's a great question. I particularly like the last phrase that you had. And so I got to type that in. We've got Kelsey and DoveLight. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Is this from like personal experience that you want us to share, or just with general wisdom?
To me, the juice is in the personal.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can share. I used to be really into CrossFit exercising. I was so ingrained in that community, and this was a time when I was getting sober. I've been sober for 5 years now, and this was at the beginning of it. So I think I like devoted all of my energy to CrossFit because it gave me like a sense of purpose. And I love working with people and connecting with people. And so I did what the coach would advise me to do, and that was to eat like a high animal protein diet. And I did a lot. Like I did a competition, only one. I did a competition. I ran hood to coast. I was like really immersed in that lifestyle. And then that's when I started getting sick, and I eventually like burned out, and I got debilitating chronic health symptoms. And then at that point, I was like, I went to a naturopathic doctor seeking for help. And then she was like, well, you have I'm public about this, but I have Epstein-Barr virus, which causes my chronic health symptoms. And a lot of us do have it. But it was like wrecking, yeah, Laureli, it was wrecking havoc in my body, and my body was just really weak. My immune system was weak. So it was like taking advantage of it. And then I learned about the medical medium approach to healing, which is basically healing with plants in nature. It kind of goes hand in hand with going plant-based vegan, although you don't have to do that if it doesn't resonate, but bringing in plants in nature, fruits and vegetables and herbs, letting go of the high animal protein. And so basically it really put me in check. And well, I tapped into my own intuition, and I was encouraged to like tap into what my intuition was telling me, like what resonates with me right now, and it was the plants. And so I started going down that path, and then so basically I started shifting my beliefs. I shifted my purpose, and it's kind of like a 180 switch, and I started letting go of that, like what I believed in high intensity exercise, and I went into the plants, into nature. And I realized like I did a lot of clinging to this idea of something that would like help me or save me. It was kind of what I needed then, because again, I was like getting off of like partying, and I was deciding to become sober. So it's like I needed that in the moment. I needed the CrossFit in that moment. That CrossFit taught me a lesson. It brought me to a really dark place within myself, which of course it's really easy to be like, oh, that sucks, man, that was really shitty. But it also helped me learn about my soul, about myself, helped me bring me back to my truth. And it's like I honor that for what it is. I think all of these things that we think are true they're meant for us in our life in that moment, even if maybe it's going to like throw us off our path or cause destruction. There's a part of it that we need in that moment to learn our lesson, and it connects to our soul. Like our soul needs to learn these lessons, and so there are teachers and our guides, and I welcome those type of things that maybe aren't totally of the light. If somebody wants to do something other than what I'm doing and what I believe in, that's their path. That is for them. I trust that and I respect that for them. And I do the same for myself.
Thanks so much for that great answer. One thing I know, Mystic Angel has to leave shortly. So Mystic Angel, if you want to jump in and say your name, your modalities, and your contact info, you're welcome to do that. And we have someone else that might want to ask a question.
Okay.
Oh, okay. For Kim, never mind. Okay. We don't have another question. We're continuing on with Daniel's question. Yeah, Mystic Angel, go ahead.
All right. So my website is truelovemetaphysical.com, which I'm offering a free 15-minute consultation for Oracle Tarot readings, if you would like. My main special I have going on is for the Life Path astrology readings. So you can get in on a good special. If you want to know anything about your soul path, hit me up at truelovemetaphysical.com. Thank you so much for having me again.
Thanks so much, Mystic Angel. It was lovely having you here. All right, great.
All right.
Is there anything you wanted to answer about Daniel's question before you go? Go ahead. If you got to go, you got to go. We understand.
Well, I do have a lot, but it'll be a whole nother long story. But I just wanted to say, stay encouraged.
All right. Thank you so much, Mystic Angel. Lovely to have you. All right, DoveLight's next.
Peace.
No, I just wanted to say that we are not the same person the same person we were 5 minutes ago. That if there is something that is permanent, it's actually change. We're always changing one way or another. Life is moving in cycles. And again, bringing out nature. We have the fall, we have the winter, summer, spring. We're always changing. We're never the same person as we were before. Even our physical body is changing. Like you can see your pictures from years. You were a kid and now you're growing. You see, this is part of life. So I definitely know in a soul level that if you genuinely love something in your life, love is never wasted. And at the moment it serves a purpose. Nothing just came for no reason. Everything is part of your journey, and there can be wisdom with it, which is going to help you to the next step. In this session, I use my intuition in all aspects of your life. So to me, this is telling me that it is normal to grieve some cycles in your life, and grieving is different for everybody. The timing is different for everybody, but you have to honor your feelings. That if you're still questioning about it, you need to go inside and reflect yourself. What is it that makes you leave it? What is it that you love about it? Perhaps you are meant to do something similar, but in a different way, something that resonates more with your soul and might help other people that resonate with it. So the essence of the situation per se can still grow and be transformed through that. I feel like you are a very passionate person. You can see victory. You can see not only the positive for yourself, but for your community, for the world in general. And to me, this is telling me that it was time for you to move forward. It was part of a cycle. And the thing that has happened to you happens to everybody else. In one way or another, we all have felt that we love something and it has to be transformed, changed, or move on. It's part of life. So I just wanted to say that that's normal for all of us. And please keep trusting your intuition, keep trusting the signs that you see from a spirit, and remember why is it that you choose the decision to leave that cycle, and what is it that you love about it. They can be transformed into something new.
Great, thank you, DoveLight. I know I have a personal story I can share, but if anyone else is wanting to share, I'll give you space. Yeah, so an example for me is, you know how important my intuitive eye readings are to me in my own personal life and in my work. I mean, it is the primary work that I do. I so value it. I didn't learn it as the form of intuitive eye readings. I didn't learn it as the form of Thrive types. Those are the names that I use for my work. I studied with a teacher who learned it from two of the sources of the work. Michael Teachings was popular in California in the 70s and 80s. Michael Teachings' work is channeled. My understanding is that Michael Channeler gets a photo of someone, holds a photo, and they wait for the information to arrive. So it's a claircognizant form of channeling, and it takes some time, and it's not an active process that the person is reading. And that's for the 7 talents that I do. They're called, they're the old names for the talents that I'm switching to some new names. And some of the other parts of the work that I read in people are that way. That's how the information arrives. And often we agree, and sometimes we don't agree on traits about people. And then also Alice Bailey and Theosophy. Alice Bailey has a lot of channeled materials, and some of that work, I mean, it's a huge body of work. A small part of that work is channeled from someone called the Tibetan or Jwal Kul. There are 7 rays, and those 7 rays correspond with the 7 talents. So my teacher had read a lot of Alice Bailey material and had studied with and was a Michael channeler in that system. So I studied with this teacher, and I studied and learned everything that I could and developed materials with this person and taught with this person. And while I was there, I saw him, and in my own trauma, I would be more in freeze and not address this. I watched him manipulate other people to get resources from them. I even participated in some of the contract negotiations where someone that he had worked with years, he attempted to have them sign away so many of their rights, and something that was really unfair to that person, to continue working together on the project he was working on. And at some point when I started studying with somatic psychotherapists and I started bringing in new materials and new approaches, and I didn't agree with him on everything, he claimed all the time that you could never use the work to hurt someone. He very explicitly in class used the work to attempt to hurt me. And it was 3 weeks into a 12-week series of teaching together. And yeah, I know, stay in my body as I talk about this. I don't think I've talked about it in a recorded public format before. Yeah, he attempted to horribly shame me in class and keep me small, and it was really, it was bad. And fortunately, I had gotten connected to enough of myself and had healed enough of my trauma that I stayed connected to myself and watched what he was doing, and the shock of, oh my gosh. And in some ways, I really needed a kick out of the nest. I mean, I was ready to fly on my own and was taking my time realizing that. It was a harsh kick out of the nest, and I watched him do similar things with other people after me. So this was all this work that I so loved that was so a part of me, and now my teacher. There are ways that I had elevated my teacher, and oh my gosh, it was a harsh fall of having to see my teacher, and he did a version of gaslighting of me. And my grandmother was narcissistic, so this is part of how I chose him as a teacher. And you can see themes for me and other things in my life. And so my job was to face the lessons that are here for me. Part of it is stepping on my own when I'm ready, not waiting to get booted out, not elevating the teacher, seeing narcissism or seeing manipulation of others and unfairness and not supporting it, not following it, calling people on it, stepping out of those communities, right? Not getting in the beginning, and still allowing myself to hold the work and, not throw the baby out with the bathwater, see the goodness in the work and allow myself to continue to practice this, and how to practice it in a way that's an integrity for me where I don't feel good sending anyone back to that teacher. And how do I honor the pathway and the journey of where this work is from? Yeah. So there are a number of people that have been part of that community that have come to me to work with me subsequently, and appreciates the way that I share the work and the way the work has evolved with that I've helped carry. And that teacher is still out there and still doing their thing, and I have no contact, and I don't know what's happening with that teacher, and how that person may have grown. So I say this as just been a big learning for me that I'm not fully even resolved in, and that I feel some of the how I could so easily be so much more out of my body right now than I am. As I share, I feel that tightness in my belly, some fear, questioning, am I sufficiently in integrity? Is my sharing sufficiently in integrity? Yeah. So it's a journey, and I continue to peel the onion. All right. I think, if there's anything else to share about that. There have been other groups, because narcissism was part of the lesson for me and my family, right? And always looking to see, is there some way that this is coming through me that I don't see? But I think that's part of why I give so much too, is to, and recognize, look and recognize my own flaws and my own faults, is to not go that pathway. I've definitely had things come up with other teachers and other communities I've been part of, or collaborators. I have 4 of us started a business together, and I haven't gone back through all of the things that I'm a verbal processor, and so I processed in writing, and I don't know exactly what it is I shared. I don't know if I shared, there's like typos and something, so it didn't actually share what my truth was. I got kicked out of that group of 3 that was doing business together, and so I don't know if it was me, or I wonder too that there was some form of I know there's narcissism in the families of one of those other colleagues. So yeah, journey and learning and peeling the onion. DoveLight had, and I want to have like some nice tied up like bow kind of conclusion for this one, and it's for me to keep facing, to keep being gentle with myself, and to keep learning and facing the lessons that are here. Yeah, so DoveLight has something to share.
Yes, thank you so much for the person who asked. I think it was Daniel. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you, Laureli, for sharing your story, because this is show how in the world polarity is together in oneness. Because Laureli, through your experience, you are able to take a leadership, and you know how many people you have helped through these events. You don't know how much goodness has the ripple effect to so many people, through their videos, through the programs, even here, getting to know each other. I've learned so much from everybody here. Such a blessing. We don't know, sometimes the worst thing that happened in our life can be our best impulse to go towards our destiny. So this is what, in a way, I'm not encouraging everybody to be mean or evil or to other people, but we have the choice. We have the divine right to move forward. And I'm not saying it's easy, it didn't hurt, but we can generally have the power to make it into something good. So I'm very grateful and honored that you decide to take that leadership place, Lori. Thank you so much for sharing I got a similar experience too, if I'm not taking that at a time, when I used to go for 4 years to, I used to be a volunteer for Tanya Stewart. She's such an amazing Brazilian medium healer. And I used to be a volunteer for the current spiritual, which I was a medium volunteer to sit in the current, which is a healing energy who helps people. And she's amazing. However, she doesn't live in the city where I live. She travels around cities at the time. So one of friends did a healing circle. And because I was so in love with my soul, yearn to be in that spirit, in this physical realm, but also in the spirit mediumship. I used to go every Sunday and I was so happy and I was very involved in that. But one time when we're coming back, one of the persons who basically created the circle for the people in the city where I live, talked to a woman in the train in a so rude, screaming, yelling way that you start to see, what? Like, is this love and light? You showing your true colors. But at the time I was so in love with the circle that I didn't was able to see it because I was focused on how happy my soul felt through helping others. And then I realized that spirit was calling me to this person to specifically do not touch me. Just be a channel, like a light of light for the group, but do not let him to touch it. And I eventually have to leave that circle. And I genuinely love that. And at the same time, I was involved through another shamanic circle in the city when one of the guys did an inappropriate touch to a person. No matter who it is, spiritual leader, doctor, psychologist, any field, nobody ever should touch you without permission, without your consent. Nobody. That was a big red flag. And I was so confused about the incident. And now I have at the same time this synchronicity with this other group. So I was wondering what the heck is going on? Why these people are showing their light and spiritually and love and light, but behind the scenes, they're not being true to themselves. So this against narcissism. This helped me to understand that not everything that shine, not even in the spiritual world, it's gold. You generally have to trust yourself. It might look on the outside, perhaps you might be helping many people, but is it comes from a genuine place? It comes from a real place. So it is up to you to don't become a victim and remember how to listen, because this can happen to everybody, but it's your choice to how to take it forward. And that's how I was so confused and so angry as well. And I realized that I don't have control of how these people are going to do their life or how these people are going to pretend in front of other people. But I can take this as an experience that if I ever am being in a guiding, not even in a leading, in a guiding position or a team where I have to help each other, how do I want to bring that energy? So I just wanted to say, please always trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust your feelings when you meet somebody, when you get involved with something. Just thank you for sharing that question, and everybody.
Yeah, thank you, DoveLight, for your share and your appreciation of me. Yeah, and I hadn't actually, I know that as a leader, I have a responsibility, and I hadn't thought about how in a different context that I haven't really fully owned how I'm leading a community now too. So yeah, so opportunities for me to hold things, own things. Kathleen has a share.
You brought up some things that I thought I cleared. It was related to my job, and it was like one of those things where you don't do what you're supposed to do, so spirit knocks you against the wall and you have to get out. And there was a lot of crap going with my job. Like after 27 years, I couldn't understand, like, why are they treating me like this? I'm a loyal employee. I did all these things. Why are you treating me like this? So I figured it out later. Spirit was telling me, get the hell out. It's time to go do other things. And that's how I got into all the spiritual stuff now. I started being led to finding out about myself more. And everything is a learning experience, because I had PTSD and I cried for a year after that job. How could I, have been treated like that? But it's led me down this other path, and I learned about you can't control. Now I know what narcissism is, and I just learned that within the last 2 years. Didn't even know what that was. So yeah, it's everything is there to either show us, we're there to teach or to learn. So yeah, everything does evolve. You don't stay in the same place, because then you don't grow. And it might be painful, but you come out on the other end, because we've all already done it. We're just watching it. So we're all going to be okay.
Yeah, thanks, Kathleen, for sharing. Yeah, and I guess maybe for me too, I just go back. I mean, this was such a big part of my life. I didn't fully go away. I was still around and I saw what was happening. And later when related kinds of things happened with other people in the community, they knew I was available and then I could connect with them and we weren't all alone like those of us that got tossed out. And yeah, we know that we've done our best and been integrity the best we can. And yeah, learning and supporting each other. Right. So all these different learnings and all the things we open to doing this together in community, it's part of what we're doing here today. Anyone have anything else to share with Daniel as we're getting ready to close up? Or Daniel, is there anything you want to share in reflection to our shares?
I just want to say that's more rich than I was envisioning. Really wonderful sharings. It just occurs to me in retrospect, I didn't know this beforehand, but I'm thinking now that the ability to shift realities on the path of life is a wellness practice. You know, it's a way to realign with whatever it is that's nourishing us. And you know, if we fight it, we get ill. So, and yet it's, you know, it runs deep. It can really go into foundational parts of us that we have to work with in order to make a shift. So anytime someone shares about that, I consider it treasure. So thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you. And yeah, we have to stay like fluid and bendy to everything that's happening. We have to stay responsive or we have consequences of being rigid, being brittle. Yeah. Well, I just put the information in the chat about our upcoming events and how you can fill out our feedback form and get entered into a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. I put that in the chat earlier as well. And we're going to go through and have all the practitioners share again who they are and what their specials are, if they have specials, if they want to share that, and how you can get in touch with them. And if you are paying attention to our YouTube channel, I just uploaded a whole bunch more interviews with practitioners and some of our past events. And I wanted to get this one up quickly so it will still be relevant, those of you. And by the way, I want you all to know that Kim did give us a donation, or Kim did contribute for us answering a question. And yeah, she gave us a great big donation for it. Thank you so much. Deeply appreciate her. All right. Let's see. So practitioners, maybe we can go in the same order of who's here. Like, where did we start? I think we did Kelsey. And then we had all these Ks in a row. Kelsey, and then Karen, and then Kathleen, and then DoveLight.
Yeah. So Kelsey, again, I'm a medical intuitive plant-based healer, and I guide people to heal their mind, body, soul, spirit, and heart utilizing plant-based nutrition, herbs, energy healing, and medical medium information. I've gone through a nightmare of a time in the conventional medical system myself, and I've healed a lot of chronic health symptoms. And so now that's how I help others heal, is through all these same techniques, just like I have. And I believe that our physical bodies are what we put into them are very, very important. And so my special today is I'm offering free 30-minute discovery calls to those that schedule within the next 48 hours. And this is a time for us to connect, for me to learn more about you, and then I can help direct you on your healing path. So you can sign up by emailing me at holistichearthealing@gmail.com, or you can also look at my website, holistichearthealing.com. I got mixed up by the email and the website. They're basically the same thing. But yeah, you can find that in the chat as well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Kelsey. Karen.
Thank you for having me again, Laureli. It's been great to be back. My name again is Karen Coccia, KarenCoccia. So you can visit my website, karencoccia.com. I'm a quantum healer, a multidimensional mentor, and a soul alignment coach. I'm trained in a number of healing modalities, including decodes, Reiki, and access bars. And I'm trained in intuitive healing, quantum healing, sound healing, life coaching, crystal healing, a whole bunch of modalities. My mission is to guide people to see and feel just how infinite and powerful they are, and that pretty much everything that we're experiencing can be shifted. I help people release everything that's not authentic to them so that they can illuminate who they truly are and who they came here to be and how they came to show up in this life. I am offering $20 off on virtual sessions right now with promo code MeWe20, and that's for everyone who has come or watch this replay. And I also have a fun pendulum play masterclass coming up on October 4th. And the link there is in the comments. You can also find information on my website, again, KarenCoccia.com. Thank you all so much for a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Karen. Great having you again. Kathleen.
Yes, hi, I'm Kathleen Hoagland, and my last name is Hoagland, and I'm a certified medical intuitive, an allergy healer, an intuitive art decoder, a Coccia record reader, and I specialize in helping to get your body back in balance, get to the core of the issue so that your body and everything, your energy and all your energy fields in your body are all back into balance so that you can have your best life going forward. And my specialty is 30 minutes of my medical intuitive for $60. But if you have questions about my other modalities, feel free to contact me. And my website is my name, Kathleen Hoagland, HOAGLAND.com. Thanks a lot.
And that's Kathleen with a K.
Kathleen with a K.
All right, DoveLight.
Hello, everybody, hello. My name is DoveLight, and I'm very grateful to be here. It was such an amazing night. Thank you, everybody. I'm not just a regular person. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh. Yeah, I'm also a soul frequency, angelic tarot, and oracle reader. I do shamanic practices, sound healing, energy healing, among many things. And my offer for today was, I was offering 10 free readings, 15-minute reading, any topic, any field, for the first 10 persons who sign up for the free hub. I'm leaving the link in there. The hub, it's an app where you can find my monthly shamanic circles, psychic and medium development classes, and everything is spiritual. So it's really nice. It's a free trial for 7 days. If you like it, I know you're gonna love it, but if you don't like it, you can leave, no questions asked, you still get the reading. Now I say limited for 10 people, but I have to check because I feel like some people already took advantage. So I have to see how many still left. So take advantage of the opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, DoveLight. And I want to make sure. Yeah, so DoveLightOracle.com and DoveLightOracle@gmail.com is how people can get in touch with you. And then we also were joined by Mystic Angel, who offers intuitive angel and ancestor readings, life motivational empowerment consultations. You can get in touch with Mystic Angel at truelovemetaphysical.com or tlmcholistic@gmail.com. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and body psychology coach. I read your eyes, your body, read your soul, and answer questions about your path, your purpose, career path, relationships. I can help you find people to connect with for business, for romance. I love to help you find soulmates with conscious online dating. I'm offering a free 20-minute consultation so you get to know who I am, get a sample of my readings, and see if that would support you as you move forward. You can learn more about me at LaureliShimayo.com. That's LaureliShimayo.com. I've got tons of offerings. I put those in the chat. For example, I'm having drop-in dating coaching and matchmaking events. The next one is Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I lead authentic relating activities. I'm going to other people's fairs over the next month to do readings, and I'll be running some of my own MeWe fairs here again in Seattle in October and November before we're back in Oregon in December. You can learn more about all of our MeWe events at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. Thank you, everyone. Those of you that are still here with us, those of you that were here earlier, thank you, practitioners, for being on the panel and great questions. I appreciate everyone being going deep and sharing in so many ways with questions and answers, how we get to grow together. Thanks, everyone. And the recording is going off.